Hi, my name's Leo and I'm a boat builder and a sailor. Back in 2017 I bought a very old and quite famous wooden sailing yacht for the price of $1, and since then I've been rebuilding that boat from the keel up with the help of a lot of amazing people. Now this video was supposed to be about planking the bulwarks, which I've been doing on and off for the last several weeks, but this last week I've been sick as a dog, as you can probably hear, and I haven't managed to get them finished. So instead of that, we're going to be going around the workshop and catching up with a lot of other exciting projects which are happening right now. Patrick has been doing some really beautiful joinery in the aft cabin. The cockpit construction has begun. But first of all, we're going to catch up with Zeal, who has now begun milling up the timber to construct the rudder.
Oh, hey. What's up? Did you want to talk to me?
No.
Hi, Nick.
Hi.
Hi, Zeal.
Hi, Daddy.
Doing the good work.
What's Joe think?
There's something not quite fair about the bottom edge of it. It ain't right.
Oh, it's rough cut.
Uh-huh.
We
Good. Yeah.
left some extra, so we're gonna fair the bottom end in,
I knew that.
and then have some room for the.
You just asked me what I thought. That's what
Friggin' Joe called it, man.
I think the Zeal's got it figured.
It's,
You called
The
it.
bottom is a little up.
You found the one.
Hey Zeal, needs to be plugged in.
Huh?
It needs to be plugged in.
What? What'd you say?
So Zeal's work on the rudder is going really well. Down here, underneath the boat, this is where all the spruce for the mast was, and since we've got this out, we've been making use of the space as a bit of a work zone, but also as a place to store and work on systems components. So we've got a lot of our plumbing and electrical gear, which is going in the boat, on this bench here. And I just had to make a big plumbing order for all of the through holes and seacocks and the raw water plumbing system components, which is all this stuff here. This will be the big seacock that shuts off the through hull for the raw water intake for the engine cooling. A smaller sea strainer, a bunch of through hulls. This order actually, although it doesn't look like that much, costs over $6,000. So the stuff's not cheap, but it is very corrosion resistant, high quality bronze, and it should last many, many decades. This is all going to be going in the boat pretty soon, and we're going to be catching up with some more electrical work that's happened. But right now we're going to check in with Patrick. He's been doing some beautiful work making some drawers and doors for the cherry wardrobe that he built in the aft cabin.
Oh, nice.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Damn!
You're recording.
So the only problem with these is the cord's just not long enough to reach across the entire shop.
Seems like a battery would fix that problem. Thanks, Clifton.
Dude, Cliff! Come here and look at this. I haven't seen if these fit yet. I haven't walked up and down off the boat 7 times yet.
Yeah, this is
to
the
fit
first
this.
time.
Yeah.
Right off the saw.
There's that one. Ooh! Look at that!
Dude, it looks amazing.
Ooh!
I love it. You can do one for my trailer.
We got your unmentionables in there.
Clean.
Yeah.
It's the clean one.
So Patrick has finished this wardrobe in the aft cabin here, and I think it looks fantastic. This is all cherry, it's the type of wood, and it is varnished with Le Tonkinois, which is a linseed oil based varnish, very traditional, and I think it looks fantastic. We've got these louvered doors here which will allow some ventilation into the wardrobe itself. There's also vents above the wardrobe. And the detail of the vent above the wardrobe is actually a detail we took off the cove line from Albert Strange's original drawing. So that is a motif which will be repeated throughout the boat, hopefully. Now we've got these drop drawers here, which you have to lift up in order to open, so that will prevent the doors from flying open when the boat is heeled over. And they have a nice satisfying click when they go back in. And then on the side here, we've got a sort of little handle piece which sticks out from the main wardrobe, and that's just a grab handle. It's nice to have lots and lots of places to grab onto in a boat to help you move around safely. Now we've used these nice little porcelain white knobs for the doors and the drawers. I wouldn't usually use knobs on drawers and doors in a boat, depending on where they are, because they can catch your clothing, but actually where they are here, it's so far outboard from where you can stand, because the slope of the hull is down below, that there's really very little chance you can actually catch things on these knobs. So I think they set off the cherry very nicely and add a kind of classy look to this aft cabin.
Now, as you guys know, costs on this project are really skyrocketing recently. So, this video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN, and that sponsorship is going to help pay for all of that fancy bronze plumbing hardware that you saw, as well as a nice slap-up meal for the whole crew. Now, I love working in America. But sometimes after a hard day's boat building, all I want to do is sit back and watch one of my favourite British soap operas. With Surfshark VPN, I can change my virtual location in order to stream all of my favourite shows that are geographically restricted. Beep.
Oh, Charles! Granduncle's coming and there's no water for the kettle.
God blimey!
Now, as well as being useful for unblocking your favourite streaming platforms, changing your virtual location using Surfshark VPN can also be useful for browsing geo-restricted shopping websites or downloading apps from other countries. Right now, there is a special holiday season deal of 85% off and 3 months extra for free, as well as a 30-day money-back guarantee. And you can get all that by just using my special offer code TALLYHO, and there'll be links up here and down here. So thanks to Surfshark for helping us out and sponsoring this really top quality content.
What is the meaning of this?
Granduncle, you're early!
Balderdash!
Knocked my mustache.
Yep, it's shorter now.
So as you can see, the rudder is going to be built out of Purpleheart because it's strong, it's stable, and it's readily available here. So to determine the shape of the rudder, we've got several things to work from. There's Albert Strange's original drawings, of course, and then there's photos of the boat a little bit later in life with an enlarged rudder. So it probably wasn't big enough then. Now, the first template we made was based on the shape of the enlarged rudder in the later photos, and that was the template that you saw Zeal putting up on the boat earlier on. But since we've done that, we actually did some calculations and found that it's still below the recommended size, so we enlarged it even more, especially down at the bottom end where it's going to be more effective. Since making the new enlarged template, Zeal has been starting to shape the Purpleheart pieces, laying them out, planing them down. Eventually they're going to be fastened together with 5/8 silicon bronze bolts. The rudder hardware, the gudgeons and pintles, are going to be made by Port Townsend Foundry, and there's also going to be a trim tab on the rudder for self-steering, but I'm not going to get into that yet because that's a whole nother subject and probably needs its own video. Incidentally, I'm interested to hear of the experiences of the very few people who have sailed with a trim tab on the trailing edge of a rudder, which is actuated by a auto helm self-steering electric ram unit. I've already referenced a lot of really good books, but I'm just interested in anyone with direct experience of trim tab to rudder ratios and linkage details.
All like roasted in New England, it was Dunkin's.
Yeah.
It's like gas espresso or something.
And that's good. That's hot.
Perfect.
Nice. You right there, Fatty?
I'm stoked! Winter camping!
Hey Nick, where you going?
Alright, later! See ya, nerd. God, I hope my hat doesn't blow off. Whoa! Dude.
Damn, guys.
We're cruising.
Slipping along. So we're just out on a little excursion with Nick and Paddy, and gonna take the boats to a little beach just down the sound here where there's no road access, and camp out for the night. There's frost on the ground, so it's a bit chilly. These guys have got their rig up and sailing pretty well in just a few knots of breeze. I am rowing the cargo boat here with all of our gear and supplies in it. I think we overpacked a little bit, but we want to be warm and have plenty of beer, so I think we'll be alright. I'm going to race to the beach.
We'll be there. Where is this beach?
You can't see it till you're right on it.
Okay.
It's like halfway to that point down there.
Unlocked on our setup.
On them. The airplane. Oh, we're drifting. Oh man, we're home. Ready?
What are you doing, Nick?
I'm gonna cook us dinner.
Alright. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
This is gonna burn
This
this little guy.
man, my testosterone gland overfloweth. Nice, Nick. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Should we cut it open?
Yeah.
Look at him.
Look,
he's got
I got a little delicate
That's
knife here. Okay, how's it look? How's it look?
Oh,
That's not bad.
Yeah, bud.
We're happy with that.
This is a you're cutting on an offcut from Tallyho's framing.
Sick.
Stock.
Is it cooked? Let's see. Yeah, it'll cook.
I mean-
it'll cook. It's still
It will
cooking.
cook?
Yeah,
Oh, it's
it'll
cooking.
cook for a few minutes after you take it off.
Will it?
Mhm.
That's called science right there. Shit.
You're supposed to let the meat sit for a few minutes,
All right.
but
Let it rest?
no one ever does.
Before you cut it, you mean?
Yeah.
Cool. Stoked you're cutting it.
That is like,
Look, y'all literally, you took the camera out and you said, "We'll cut into it."
Yeah, that's true. Christ.
Isn't it good?
Holy I
Dude,
mean, holy
fire,
smokes.
fire tastes good. Leo, get some of this.
Okay. Now don't look at the camera. Don't look at the lens.
You're just looking at it as you say that.
Yeah.
Now, the cockpit footwell is something we've been thinking about for a long time. That is where you put your feet when you're steering the boat. So it has to be suspended from the deck structure, it has to be very strong, it has to be watertight, and it has to have various things mounted in it. Now, ideally, I would like to make the cockpit completely traditionally, but one of the main considerations is that it's fairly low profile because it takes up space inside the engine room, and that space is really valuable. We're trying to cram a lot of stuff in there. It's also critical that we don't get leaks in the cockpit, again, because we have that machinery space underneath it. So after a lot of consideration, a lot of different designs, I finally settled on making the cockpit out of plywood. It'll be sheathed with fiberglass on the exterior surfaces and then clad in teak and cedar. So it'll look very beautiful and traditional, but it'll also be low profile, it'll be lightweight, it'll be really strong, and it'll be really watertight. One other really important reason for doing it like this is that it means the cockpit will be one unit. What that means is that it'll be able to be lifted out of the boat and put back in without too much destruction, without too much hassle. So if the engine ever needs to get changed out, or the diesel tanks do, the cockpit can just pull right out of the way and allow that to happen. So Clifton has been cutting out the marine ply panels which will make up the cockpit, and our friend and local epoxy wizard Russell Brown is going to come down and guide us in fiberglassing one side of all those panels to protect them. All right, Clifton, what are all these bits of plywood for, and what are we doing with them today?
This is the cockpit footwell. And don't freak out, YouTube. We're going to bury the fiberglass with beautiful pieces of teak and yellow cedar. But this will protect the plywood and make it
Last forever.
last pretty much forever. It gets pretty permanent.
Who have you got helping you today?
We have the famous Russell Brown assisting us today.
So famous.
Assisting is probably not the right word. Guiding us.
So Clifton, why are we trimming the glass close to the edges?
To assist cleanup later? Do tell.
To keep it from the weight of the cloth from pulling a bubble
Oh,
into the edge. That's why we're doing
indeed.
it. Yeah.
But you knew that, right?
Hmm?
But you knew that. We all knew that.
I do know that. I know that specifically because I've had to grind that bubble off the edges of things that have been fiberglass before.
Yeah, that's clever. What sort of epoxy are we using, Russell?
We're using 105 resin and 207 hardener. And we could be using 206 hardener for this, but It's a little bit thicker. It makes it wetting out the glass a little bit harder. And this stuff's a little thinner, and it's not warm in this shop, so anything we can do to make the epoxy a little bit thinner, the better. We'd start with the smaller ones.
So you don't lay any epoxy underneath the glass, obviously.
It's just about impossible to do because you can't position the fiber over the sticky stuff. You know, you end up with giant wrinkles, and it's horrible.
Do you have time to explain what the peel ply does?
Yeah, it's like a light nylon cloth that's untreated. It's also porous, so the epoxy comes up through it, and it's sacrificial. You pull it off when you're done. And it leaves the surface totally flat and ready to bond to. You don't have to sand it to bond to it.
Get a close up of your face right now. I don't know why. I don't know why. This is a complete waste of Leo's time. I'm so sorry, Leo. He has to look at this footage because it might be good.
Am you still on the toilet?
Nick, what have you been up to in the head?
So, now that we had all the sole cut out for the head, we had to bed it in. So we went around the perimeter here, and we got a nice thick coating of TDS, teak deck systems, which we're hoping to keeps this whole kind of situation watertight. And all that should slant into the drain here, into the shower pan, which will then drain out the bottom there.
What's going to be covering the shower pan eventually?
Eventually we'll make a teak kind of like latticed grate here. So that should cover this. So you'll actually stand on that, and then underneath that, the water should be able to get underneath and drain out.
You just showed that there's a drain under all the crap in there.
Here it is.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cool. And then what are you sitting on then?
Yeah, so this is going to be the step for the toilet. And we raised this up just kind of for a good height, but it also makes a nice platform for when you're sitting on the head. Your feet will rest here. And it's all slanted down, so if you're showering or whatever, water should theoretically run down this onto the teak and then into the grate.
Very good. Alright, well that is about it for now. I'm excited to see so much great work going on all at once, and I'm really excited to get over this bug and get back to finishing off the bulwark planks. So big thanks to the team here for doing such great work. Thanks to you for watching, and a massive thank you to everyone who has donated or otherwise supported this project. It does make a huge difference. It means that we're able to keep on doing this work, and I'm able to keep on making and editing these videos. So I really appreciate it. So happy holidays, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.